Every real cowboy like myself knows how lonely it is out on the open range, which is why I listen to the Cowboy Boys podcast. With best contractually obligated friends, Shayne Smith and Mac Arthur, the Cowboy Boys will comfort your soul better than any disease-ridden saloon gal ever could. Cowboy Boys.
Welcome to Cowboy Boys episode 46. This one is named, I don't know, Protest Boys. How was your protest?
Yeah.
Shayne, you're in Utah right now.
Yeah, we protested in two separate places.
Yeah, I was protesting
Both of us.
in New York.
My protest was weird. I went, apparently we thought they were going to burn the police station down because they were attacking the police station. So I went in full, burn the police station down gear. So,
Oh, really?
I had to, yeah. So it was really hot, but we were, wearing long sleeves and Under Armour and glove. We had a whole thing. But then they weren't burning the police station down, so we just regular protested.
That's kind of what I don't like about all the looting. It's like, why are you looting? Why aren't you burning a police station down?
Dude, that's totally, well, that was the thing. Me and my brother were there, and we were near the public library, and everyone was some just shitty punk rock kids seemed like they were going to break into the library, and we were like, hey, fucking don't touch the library, you morons. People were littering and shit. We were like, hey, don't litter. Luckily, it's Utah, so there were a bunch of well-meaning people literally walking around, handing out snacks and water. It's the most Mormon shit ever, and picking up trash.
Yeah.
So
no, that's what I did.
Yeah, you're holding it down for Utah and New York, being a sweetheart.
No, picking up trash. But continue.
Yeah, but so yeah, there was this weird 1/3 of the protesters were just morons that I felt were totally shouldn't have been there, ruining it. 1/3 of everyone was just kind of too angry to be there, and then the other third was just people who were actually protesting. But the police were pretty fucking intense, man. The National Guard was there. They shot at us a whole bunch with rubber bullets and stuff.
This is yesterday.
This dude in Salt Lake, yeah.
This dude what?
Oh, this dude right next to me and my brother. So there kept being these MAGA dudes showed up, Trump guys.
Yeah.
And they
Proud Boys
were
in Utah.
Yeah, they were we're gonna protest the protest, which is the worst possible. What are you doing? What plan is that?
You're protesting people angry that cops are murdering black people. I'm pro cops murdering black people. It's that doesn't seem like the good. And pick any other protest right now.
I was blown away that they were there. I was just I couldn't believe it.
Did you see the guy with the bow and arrow?
He was right by us.
So he shot that. Did he shoot anyone with the arrow?
He tried.
Yeah.
So I will recall that story for you because it's amazing. So, but me and my brother were right next to this little tussle that broke out between this dude basically saying some wild out of pocket shit, and then these protesters pushed him, and they were push him into police, police take this guy, he's saying the N-word. And then the dude went
N-word?
to punch.
The N-word is part of your First Amendment right to say.
But he's literally trying to incite a beating. So then the dude swings at a protester, and then the police just started firing rubber bullets into the crowd. And we were just oh shit. And this dude right next to me and my brother got shot in the neck.
Ouch.
But luckily there was a bunch of so Utah has, as much as I dislike libertarians, Utah has a bunch of cool left-leaning guys with rifles, and there was a guy who was I'm a combat medic, and he had his whole gear and his metal plates on, and he ran up and started helping people who had been tear gassed, and he helped the guy who had been shot in the neck. Nice. But I was oh shit, this is crazy. So it was cool to see left-wing people with rifles and stuff there.
Yeah.
But
love to see that. Everyone, if you don't have a gun, buy a gun.
Dude, if you, especially, dude, straight up, if you're a black person in a black community, go buy a gun right now.
If you're a minority,
everyone is. Yeah, buy a gun, dude. Fucking for real. Everyone's been donating money, and in my mind, I was kind of like, I want anyone who's like just a citizen, like if you're a black person who lives in a community where you don't feel safe, message me and I'll buy you a gun.
should we raise money?
I kind of wanted to tweet that. I think maybe we should, as the Cowboy Boys, just be like, we'll buy minorities guns. Like, let's help you out.
That'll be our fun. To trade.
Fuck it, man.
That's the problem with like the NRA right now, is they're really dropping the ball with all that. So there's the Socialist Rifle Association that exists that is super like pro everyone, like workers and minorities buying guns. And then there's like another one, it's like called the Mountain Man gun thing that you can join. I think that's more
I like them. They sound cool as fuck.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the name of their actual name is. But their whole thing is like, yeah, we're rednecks, but we're not racist. We love guns. Like, that's it. And so they're just
so cool.
And there's like a bunch of hate from like gun ranges that are like, oh, this is an NRA gun range. Fuck that. I hate like the people just don't like NRA sponsored gun ranges. But as soon as we get big and popular, we're gonna start the Cowboy Boys gun fund.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm
Arm
so
America.
down.
That is crazy how during these protests, I think there was the shooting, the 7 people who got shot because one person, I don't know what happened in Louisville. And then there was like another drive-by so far, which is actually insane that like how many cities are on fire right now, how many people are out protesting, and there's not that many shootings. There's only been like 2.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's
wild.
Pretty impressive. Like
more dangerous to be a high schooler than a protester. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's so the argument then is like police are shooting more minorities and black people and everyone. There's actually I think a video that's also circulating right now of a white guy who got shot and murdered by the police, and they're like laughing about it recently. But yeah, I'm not saying it's just another example of like, oh shit, this is why everyone's out here.
Oh, dude, you know what cracks me up is when you see people sharing, they're like right-wing people are like, look at all these white people that got killed by the police and there's no protests. It's like, yeah, you're just proving the point. That's a tragedy. This is everybody's problem.
Exactly.
Like, what do you thought? Yes, correct.
You should
Way
be marching.
To reveal more.
You should be marching for everyone to not getting shot by the police.
Yeah, you should have been.
It's just black people are more vocal about it. They're more oppressed.
Yeah, and it disproportionately affected. I think technically more white people are shot, but it proportional to the amount of police in our communities, it's less.
I also was protesting. I was protesting today. And so our protest was it was all through Manhattan. It was really peaceful. It was like a really, you said yours was like a third of the people were like looking for violence. A third were kind of like.
Yeah, straight up a third were like out for full riot.
So I'd say 99.5% of our protest was just like normal, peaceful, like there for the cause. And then it was like another like maybe 0.5 was there like to start shit. And so what happened to me is I'm out there protesting, just walking along, and we're walking up Fifth Avenue. So right where like the Microsoft store and Muji and all those like fancy stores start. And I've told this these Hispanic teenagers started like tipping over garbage cans, and like it's clear like everyone is super calm, like super like saying their chants and stuff, like it's super positive and all that. And they're tipping over, they're riding their bikes on the side, and they're tipping over garbage cans. And so a bunch of people start untipping them, and like I'm helping untip them, and I'm like I can see them grabbing it, and like I'm grabbing the other side. I'm like, this is not what this is about. And one of them like swipes at me, and he kind of like punches me in the eye. It didn't like he like scratched my eye, but I didn't get hurt. And so he's like ready to fight me, and this big, huge black guy and this really tall, lanky white guy are like, get out of here, and they're all just coming up, and we're all yelling at them. And so then
Nice.
this tiny Hispanic Antifa lady, because she was all decked out in black, had everything covered out, like, you can tell she's just like, you don't know what it's like to be oppressed. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but like, why are you attacking stores when the cops aren't around? If you truly like were for it, like if you wanted the chaos, attack a cop. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
Looting is such like a beta move. Anyways, so they rode off. And
remember that scene in the Joker where the Joker was like, Microsoft, and then took down the fucking Microsoft store? It makes no sense.
Anyway,
no,
yeah.
It's not real. Can you imagine though if he was like, no, he attacks the police and like the government officials and like money, and it's just like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, just the anarchy. LA is like burning right now, which is crazy to watch. And it's like,
I mean, that's kind of their thing, right?
Yeah, it's been boiling over. And so I was actually wondering, is Salt Lake, before the National Guard showed up, is Salt Lake also rioting because it's like they've been angry since the 1998 NBA Finals, Game 6, Jordan with the flu? Like they got to get their anger out. let them have one little riot. It's been building. Anyways,
they did set 2 police cars on fire.
Oh, 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
2 police cars and then a civilian's car.
A civilian? Oh, was it that guy who was the guy with the bow, right?
Yeah. Do you want to hear that story?
Tell me about him.
So,
because that's all that really happened on my protest, and then it was crazy how like peaceful and normal it was. But so the sun started setting, and I'm like, I'm gonna go home, because I could tell that a lot of like the people who had started were kind of like breaking up, and a lot of people who were joining were like younger people, covered like as much as their face as possible. I'm like, oh, this is gonna turn tonight.
Yeah.
So you can always feel like when it's gonna turn, and I'm like, I'm too old and fat to be out here looting. Like, it wasn't even like it wasn't even like a protest. It was turning from a protest the police energy to like, oh, it's just a straight looting. You could feel the vibe that they're trying to do that. So
yeah, I'm not down with that at all. So,
but
I get it.
Did you see, J.R. Smith?
No.
He's that NBA guy. He's on the
oh yeah.
He's in LA, and some I think white guy was trying to break into his car or something, and he just fucking laid into him. Like, this NBA star just started beating the shit out of some guy messing with his car, and it's like, yeah, that's what you get when you mess with private people's property. So when there's like all the looting and stuff, loot all you want, but if you go into a store and someone shoots you, that's like what you get. So either don't lose sight of the protest, and protest cops, burn down a cop station legally. Like, the way it's set up is they can't kill you. I mean, they still do, and that's the whole protest. But when you mess with every private owner, you're going on their own land. People have guns. It's America.
I'm with you there. I definitely agree. I've seen videos of all these people protecting their businesses with rifles and stuff, and I was like, good.
Yeah.
The looting bothers me. I was annoyed that people were just like, literally like, we should just start breaking windows. And it's like, okay. Though people looting the malls is kind of whatever. Like, who gives a shit about that?
Yeah.
I don't give. That's the thing, is I'm very apathetic, like, to looting Target. Yeah, fuck the corporation. Looting a mall, yeah, fuck those people. When they're like, the Louis Vuitton store, it's like, okay, good. I could care less.
But like a restaurant?
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. If you're going to loot with purpose, right? Attack the corporations that pump money into lobbies that affect the laws. But, so I'm at the protest. And this dude so the protest is outside of the Salt Lake City Library. The police kind of corralled everyone. By the way the police in Utah, they literally had the National Guard handling the whole thing. The police were just taking orders from the military. It was crazy.
Oh, really? So
yeah, they had
my buddy is in the National Guard, and he went to Utah, and so I was wondering if there's going to be you know him, we won't say his name.
Yeah.
Keep it, but I was wondering if you were gonna go out and like hug on the front lines.
That'd be fun. So they had like a helicopter, a Black Hawk, like with a medical badge on it. It was clearly a fucking command center helicopter. So during like a regular battle in Iraq or whatever, you would have a helicopter above, and then you have the guys inside of it, it basically relaying comms back down, and they would be the mobile command center. So they're clearly like watching movements and corralling everyone in certain ways. Yeah. So they corral everyone near the city library and kind of like split the protesters up into two groups.
They split you up.
Yeah, they split us up on purpose, and then they surrounded us on two sides. That's so funny. That when they collapsed in on us, we only had two ways to go. It was really interesting the way they did it.
We had two marches accidentally, or maybe on purpose, meet up and then collide and form a big then we started marching up Fifth Avenue.
A super protest.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was. So then what happened?
So we're in this huge group, like there's 500 people, like this massive group of people on the outside of this library taking up a whole street.
I like that 500 people is a huge group in Utah.
In Utah, yeah. So there's like 500, and so this dude pulls up in his car, like onto the edge of the library, parks literally just in the middle of the protest, which is kind of normal. There are people doing that. And there's guys riding their motorcycles through the protest, like cheering people on and shit. So everyone's like, okay, this guy parks his Ford fucking Focus or whatever in the middle of the protest, gets out of his Ford Focus, sheathes a fucking machete.
Yeah, he had a machete too.
Like knight style, like he's a medieval knight. And then he pulls out his compound bow, starts to knock an arrow, and he's yelling at everyone like, you fucking kids don't respect the law and all this other shit, and people were like, what is happening? Because they didn't know if he was like on the team or not. Yeah. And then he started he basically very poorly shot one arrow that didn't go anywhere or do anything because he must have been so nervous.
It didn't
and
hit
then
anyone.
He started knocking. No. I think he might have hit someone, but it literally did nothing to them. They were like, what the fuck? Did you shoot me with an arrow? Because he didn't draw the whole way back.
Yeah.
And then he started knocking another arrow and going to shoot another one. And then the protesters were like, fucking, I think this guy's attacking us with a bow. Yeah. And everyone rushed him and just beat the shit out of him. It was crazy. He's so lucky he didn't get shot, dude. So everyone just beat the fuck out of him. And they didn't kill him. They didn't beat him badly. They literally tuned him up and then sent him on its way. But when they kicked him out and the police took him, they then flipped his car and set it on fire.
Good.
So he lost his car. So then I love that
that guy's just as predatory as the looters.
Oh, dude, also this dude clearly is that kid that you go to, when you're in school and there was a kid that was a nerd, but he was like, I'm a black belt, I could kill you. And you're like, no, you can't, Kyle. You couldn't though, Kyle, because you fucking weigh 105 pounds and you draw monster fan art. I could kill you if I wanted to. And he's like, I'm a black belt. And you're like, bro, the black belt doesn't mean anything. It's not real. And he's like, I could do it. And then eventually he gets beat up and he's like, I don't understand. And you're like, because Chad outweighed you by 100 pounds. You're a fucking nerd, Kyle. Your black belt means nothing. That's this guy. This dude literally probably is just some right-wing dude who's like, I would never let anyone disrespect me. I will fuck them up. And the protest happened, and he's like, now's my time. And he's like, they're going to be so afraid of me. I'm going to bust out my bow, which I'm an expert hunter with. And he got there, and he's like, I'm Legolas now. And he tried to knock an arrow, and he was so nervous that he couldn't draw it the whole way. Dude. And he let it go early, didn't hurt anybody with it. And then he was just like, oh no, reality is different than in my imagination. And then he just got beat up by teenagers, dude. And then on top of that, the harsh reality was the police took him away and he had to watch them burn his car up.
Fuck yeah.
And so, dude, this is the craziest thing. Everyone thought he got arrested. They're like, yeah, the police arrested him. He tried to, nope. The police let him go because the police are fucking retarded. And then several hours later, people are on top of his burning car, yelling at the police, just protesting and whatever. He showed back up with all these bruises and shit all over his face and was like, "You kids burned my car," and starts yelling. Dude, even the police were like, "What the fuck, you're back?" And so then the protesters were like, "We'll fucking kill you this time. You get out of here." And people are literally throwing water bottles and shit at him, and the police had to grab him and take him away again. He literally Ubered back from home just to be like, "Oh fuck, my car got set on fire."
Dude, I saw him on the news. Bob Evans, that local news guy, was interviewing him, and he's just like, "These protesters attacked me." Fucking
dude, he literally parked his car in the protest illegally, and then got out, sheathed his sword like he was the baddest motherfucker on the planet, and then tried to shoot someone with a bow. I don't know what he thought was gonna happen. He must have thought he'd like shoot two people and everyone would be like, "Stay away from him," and he'd be like holding the crowd off with the bow, and the police would intervene and be like in fight with him. I don't know, dude. Yeah. He literally thought he was an Avenger, and it turns out he's just a fucking 60-year-old man.
People don't think
with a bow.
Their weapon choices out fully because they watch too many movies, and it's like, yeah, you could maybe, if you knew what you were doing, shoot one person, and then what? It takes like a couple seconds, because it's there's like the people rushing you with a knife can close in a couple seconds, like,
oh yeah.
And so
that's what, you know what disappoints people is when they find out most medieval knights are killed with a knife and not a sword.
Oh, really?
And that's like a real statistic. Yeah, medieval knights the sword is for killing regular ass people. How you kill a knight is with a hammer or a knife.
Oh yeah, or like a pole arm. You poke them from
you
get that piercing.
So when people think like, it's so fun. It's like the dudes all the sword guys, there's lots of like historical sword guys, and they're like, "This is how sword fighting works," and they think they're experts on YouTube. And then when medieval combat became a real sport, all the dudes who actually fight were like, "No, none of that works." And the sword guys are like, "It's in the German manual from the 1300s. It works." And the sword guys were like, "Oh yeah, that wasn't written by real people who kill each other. That was written by dudes like you who were nerds."
They were LARPing in the 1500s.
Yeah, they really were. They were like, "Dude, that's not how it works. That's like if an Olympic shooter wrote a manual on sniping. It's not real." And
I think the best weapon is like a hammer with a point on it, right?
That's exactly dude. If you look at photos of like real knights not photos of like the manuscript paintings, the knights are like stepping on each other and hammering each other to death and shit. Yeah.
Maybe we should take a page from the medieval books. Get a pointy hammer for the protests.
Dude, a pointy hammer would fuck shit up at the protests, man.
I was actually thinking the best weapon probably we should give protest advice. While we're at it, because I was thinking because they're like telling people to cover up their tattoos, right?
Yes.
Which is so you can be less identified. I was like, why not put on temporary tattoos on your face? So you they're like, oh, the guy has a rose above his eye, but then you go home, you rub it off, and then they're looking for a tattoo guy but doesn't work for you.
No. Though you could paint your face in military paint, which is something I used to do when I would rob people back in the day.
No.
So, but it also looks like blackface. So maybe I don't know.
I'm saying though, temporary tattoos was one of my ideas. Another thing I was thinking.
That's a good one. Wigs?
Probably a wig, but probably the best weapon for a protest is mace. If it's good enough for cops to use on people, why not? Like when they're arresting people, just start macing that like ball of people on the ground. The person's already getting arrested. They probably won't mind if they get collateral damage maced with a bunch of police. True. So right now, everybody go use our Amazon link on our website and buy bear mace on Amazon. Or just buy bear mace at Walmart. They probably have bear mace at Walmart. The thing with bear mace is it shoots far, it like sticks, and it like that's I think normal mace just kind of is misty. Like if you use bear mace, that's the good stuff.
Bear Mace fucking wrecks house, dude. I've seen it used. It's not a joke. It's way better than real mace. Here's the thing: when you bear mace, it's gonna hit you. Yeah. That's the thing is like, dude, bears are so much tougher than cops, and so probably bear mace is. I think if I had to outfit myself, I would go. I would get a makeshift like Captain America's shield.
Yeah,
you got to go shield. And mace.
What I've seen is people cutting, those blue water barrels, those 50-gallon water barrels.
Yep.
They're cutting those like into to like triangle from the top down, the cylinder thirds, and creating shields with those.
That's a really good idea. And Hong Kong, people use super heavy duty umbrellas. That's another decent shield. Not perfect. You can't go shield to shield with a cop, but you can use it as a shield against projectiles and stuff. Yeah. So it's another good way to do it.
A lot of people have been firing fireworks, just like full on mortars.
Someone lit a bomb off that injured 2 police officers at our protest.
Actual bomb?
It was a homemade. And I don't want. Listen. You know how we taught people how to make fireworks?
Yeah, no, that's in like episode 1
where
or 2.
We taught people how to make a bomb. Someone took our advice and no. This person has no affiliation with us, I want to say. But they made a very big bomb that was made out of a firework. This was not a homemade firework. This was a mortar made into a more bomb type device. Yeah, it did have a little bit of firework effects, but anyway, when the police got extra crazy and they were shield to body, and they were pushing people, and people started like, no, you're not going to move us. And they were fighting, and they tear gassed us, and they're firing rubber bullets. At one point, someone threw like a bomb went off. I thought it was a real bomb. I was like, holy shit, someone just bombed the protest. Yeah. I thought it was like an anti-protester bombing us. But what happened was someone had thrown a whole backpack that had a full mortar in it, and it blew up. It literally knocked down a ton of cops and a protester, and it injured 2 cops. Like, they took one of the cops away on a stretcher. It was wild.
Damn.
So that was crazy. Me and my brother were like, what the fuck? Like, that one was nuts. And then as soon as that happened, the National Guard showed up, and they literally like walked everyone down, shooting tear gas at us. And at that point, me and my brother bailed.
That's the thing about the National Guard is they're actual military. They don't fuck around. They're trained to kill people because they're military. They're not like trained to be riot cops. So,
yeah.
That's when the National Guard shows up, you should leave.
Dude, they did the thing where they kind of replaced the police on the line, because they were like replacing the police one by one, and then they had the Humvees and they spotlighted us so we couldn't see them walking us down. Oh. So they were spotlighting us. They had guys in the Humvees shooting pepper spray bullets. They were shooting rubber bullets into us. And then they tear gassed us. At one point, we were running, and there was only one place to go. Me and my brother were like, because we were like, oh, we're trapped, and if they're arresting us on this other side, we're literally going to run through a building. Like, we were just like, jump through the window. But we didn't have to. But as we were running, a dude literally shot a tear gas canister at my brother. I saw it happen. The guy fired. He tried to hit my brother. It bounced right behind my brother and like got caught in a bush. And I had to jump through this cloud of tear gas, and it like fucked me up so hard.
You get a whiff?
Oh, yeah, dude. And it was so bad. Afterwards, me and my brother were like hanging out, just chilling. And all of a sudden, like, it must have been just like a piece of it got shaken loose in my mouth. And I was like, oh my God. And I had like a coughing fit. It was brutal. But yeah, dude, it was a wild night.
It's crazy that talking to my buddy in the National Guard, he's like just really pissed that he has to go in, kind of.
Yeah.
He's just like, of course. I don't want to be doing this. And it is crazy like how everyone's just pissed, and the simple solution, like, I don't like the people that are like kind of turning it into there's like white people aren't speaking, like there's a lot of the Antifa stuff, and I'm just like, all right, the main message is kind of getting diluted right now, and really it's just prosecute cops to the same degree as everyone else.
Yes.
Have them not be above the law. And it's crazy that like that's all what this is about. And I don't know, hopefully it changes, but maybe not. Just to punish police the same way we are.
Yeah. I like, so many people have so many different weird narratives going on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people and there's a lot of and Twitter is not a reflection of reality. But I've been seeing so much stuff on Twitter that's horrible, just wild bullshit about the protests. Like saying that they're just we can't trust white people. They shouldn't be at the protest because they're inciting violence. And it's what is that about?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense. That's that's deep state conspiracy level shit. So, but I mean, and then it has 80,000 likes, and I'm like, what in the world? I don't even know. That shit is crazy.
I think Trump, I don't know if it was an executive order or if it's actually official. He declared Antifa a terrorist organization today.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm thinking they haven't killed anyone. They haven't killed any politicians or bombed anything yet. So can they really be deemed a terrorist organization? They need to step it up.
That's what I'm saying. And here's my thing: if you're going to be a terrorist organization, be one. At this point, they should just attack the KKK headquarters, right?
Well, that's what it's when they declare Proud, people are Proud Boys and Antifa need to be terrorist organizations. It's I feel they're just fist fighting clubs at this point. Hopefully they I don't know.
They feel like dorky clubs. No one in Antifa has ever been wow, so that guy's serious, huh? It's no, it's always weird little girls and is this a paramilitary organization or or what's going on with this?
That's the lesson. If you start a paramilitary organization, don't let women in.
Well,
sorry ladies, you got to stay home.
Well, it's just it doesn't help your cause when it's here we're a feared paramilitary organization here to stop fascists, and it's fucking tight, dude. My grandpa killed fascists for a living. Tell me more. Yeah. And then they're well, here's one of our better members. She doesn't like gunfire, but she does have a crop top, and you're okay, that was fucking weak. What is going on here?
Yeah.
They're never. I mean, even when you look at right-wing militias, they're today on this Vice documentary following this right-wing militia around, they waterboarded each other and then ran 12 miles and fired 100,000 rounds of ammunition. And you're okay, that was for real. And then here's...
The problem with right-wing militia guys is they all look like me, and they can't walk. They can't walk more than 3 miles before giving up and going home.
No,
they can't do a single pull-up. You can shoot a gun, but what happens when you have to walk 10 feet to go shoot your gun? You're oh man.
The enemy's on the other side of that wall, and the right-wing militia is just damn, our one weakness. Low walls we can't get over. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's just you've got Antifa on Twitter getting knocked out in the street even though they've got batons. That video is circulating today.
Yeah.
And then you've got right-wing dudes who are doing nothing, and it's dude, no one here is capable of anything. So embarrassing, dude. Our country needs to get it together. Remember when our militia fought the most powerful military that ever existed and won? We've fallen so far.
I wasn't there, but I have heard about it.
Yeah. It was some dude with fucking horse teeth in his mouth, and he fucking defeated the world's most powerful military that ever existed, besides ours now. But I actually think the British Empire might have been we're stronger now, but they were pretty serious back then.
That's the other thing when people are you shouldn't protesting is the most American thing. It's literally what our nation was founded on. It's just rebelling against people not representing you. So if your voice isn't heard, go out and I don't know, protest the government and the people oppressing you. But I don't think the restaurant down the street is oppressing you.
I know, it's so tough. It's what the thing is we're just not organized.
No, yeah.
If there was a little tiny bit of accountability, if we just had, but no one wants to get organized because they're anarchy, and it's that doesn't work though. It doesn't.
Well, this is the new normal, I think, and there'll just be 24/7 protests.
Damn, you think we just live in a cyberpunk hellscape now?
I mean, that seems kind of cool. That's what everyone wishes, right? They want that dystopian.
Dude, we're so close to just like, I can't tell you how many novels are like, first there was a flu, then civil unrest, and then World War III.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that is the storyline of so many novels. I'm a little worried.
So that guy that smacked me in my eyeball today,
Yeah.
like I'm like, shit, I definitely got coronavirus now.
You just punched it into your eye.
Yeah.
I know. I wore my mask the whole protest, and I was like around all these like crusty punk rock kids, and I was like, ugh, you guys have everything.
Well, I like the crusty people more because the coronavirus can't live inside of them.
It just dies immediately.
Yeah, but it's the people. It was all the guy was wearing like rubber gloves and touching garbage cans. So maybe actually the germs from the garbage can will get in my eye and protect me.
I can't, dude. What goes on? And I guess you're just so young, you don't know what goes on in your head that you're tipping over trash. Like, got the man. Yeah, I did it to him now.
I think it's just he's just angry, and you're teen angst and have no direction to point it. I don't know. He also pulled out a razor blade and like was on his bicycle, and everyone's just like, "Get out of here! Like we're going to kick your ass if you come by us."
Yeah, I'm just glad that like those dudes had your back.
Yeah, that was.
There's so many kids who are like who are young and whatever, and they're just like, "Yeah, we're here to destroy everything," and it's like, firstly, you're not capable of doing this without my help, so you need to chill out. And secondly, like this protest is reflecting on the Black community. So
yeah, that's why a lot of people were like yelling, like, "Stop it! You're representing exactly that." That's what the guy was yelling next to me, and they bitched out. They rode off on their bikes, and then like I bumped into him later, and he's like, "Are you following me?" And I'm like, "I'm walking the same direction as everyone else, motherfucker!" Like,
Jesus Christ. Dude, I just don't get it. I was also seeing people who were mad that the police were like kneeling with them in other places, and it's like, what do you want them to do? Yes, I saw a ton of it. My timeline's full of like ignorant morons.
In Times Square, everyone was kneeling, and I think they even got some cops to kneel down and for like a moment of silence, and everyone was like, "Yeah, this is what it's about. Like, we want that solidarity." So it is.
Yeah.
I get that your vote, like, you want to burn it all down, but what if you don't have a step 2 after burning it down, like without a leadership, like short of, I guess it's like, yeah, burn it all down, but you're not killing politicians. You're not burning down the actual system. You're burning stores. It's such a phony baloney, like, whatever.
Well, there's also so many people who were like, we got to destroy the police. And it's like, well, we got to destroy the institution as it stands today. And they're like, no, the police. And I was like, so just no cops. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, we've done that before. And they're like, really? And I was like, yeah, it was called the Wild West. You know that time famous for all the guys who shot each other all the time constantly? Yeah, that was it. Well, and like, listen,
I'm for that, yeah. Well, that's what's funny too.
You like it.
Well, it's funny because like people are also there's the whole very right wing take. It's like, okay, so we're gonna dial back the police, and then what happens when your business gets looted, and who are you gonna call? And I'm like, I'm not calling anybody. I'm shooting the looters who are stealing my stuff. I don't want I'm anti-cop in that direction too. Like, the craziest thing I've seen out of all this is the cops shooting the paintball pepper ball stuff onto the people on their porch. That is like, that's violated
that one was
amendments. That made my libertarian rage flare.
That one made me rage too. I literally, like, it's really hard not to just like let yourself lose your mind and be like, if they're wearing the uniform, they're the enemy. Like,
yeah, well, when they're doing shit like that, you're like, I guess, yeah, you're the enemy. You're literally killing people and not being prosecuted for it. You're shooting and so that's why I think the NYPD was driving cars into people, and it's
Dude, I
like,
saw so many videos of cops like kicking people who were already surrendered, arresting people who were walking, doing nothing. It's like, dude, you guys are not helping your case at all. And here's the thing, they're an institution, and if you wear the uniform, you're technically complicit in the institution. Like that's the oath you take. That's kind of your deal. So if the institution is bad and you're still wearing the uniform, then even if you're a good guy, you are the enemy.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can't wear the United States military uniform, go overseas to Iraq and be like, oh no, we shouldn't kill these people. I think I made a mistake. And then the enemy takes over the base and you're like, please don't kill me. I'm not one of the bad guys. And like, you're wearing the uniform, moron. You're going to die with everybody else. Like, that's just how it works.
The thing also with the military, though, is that's so many more magnitudes, like serious, and they have their own laws. Being a cop is a job. Like,
yeah, true, fair, very fair.
You and not a well-paying job either. Like,
yeah,
you can get another job. You know what? They've this is like a really old article from like the year 2000, but there was a guy who was, because the military tests for like low IQ, right?
Yeah.
And if you're too stupid, the military's like, we can't let you in because you'll probably drop a grenade and kill like half your units because you're too stupid. Like, we can't. You'll do too much collateral damage. I'm sorry. We can't have you in the military. You can't get a job where the job is to point a gun at a direction and shoot, because you might fuck that up and you might shoot at the wrong direction. But there was a court case in the year 2000 where a guy was denied to become a police officer because he got too high of a score on the intelligence test. And so
what?
Yes, then so he sued, and the courts upheld the law because they're like, there's laws don't let you discriminate against like race or gender or sexual orientation or anything, but they do let you discriminate against intelligence. And so
damn,
there's not every police precinct, but a lot of police precincts do not, like, if you test too high on an intelligence level, they don't let you become a police officer. And I think the reasoning behind that is because your SERP, is that the word? Like the people up higher, you'll do too good of a job. And so that's like another crazy thing, that it's just like, oh, they want this system to stay how it is and have dumb, like, just meathead, unquestionable, people who don't question authority, like, to be a job. Which is, I wonder what that court case is called. I'll see if we can look it up. How wild is that, though?
Yeah.
You can be too smart to be a cop.
It's so fucking crazy. It's even wilder when you think police bid for contracts with the city. They bid for budget. They try to make arrests quotas for jails.
Quotas are
they have
insane.
Relationships with private jails. They have ticket quotas. Police officers themselves have quotas they have to meet, so they'll ramp up activity in certain areas in order to meet quotas. It's just like, dude, how is this system real? And then, like, and it's like the post office. So if you're a postman and you make your rounds in a certain amount of time and you retire, the postman who replaces you has to meet the time of your quota because it's proven that it can be done in that time. So often, like, the post office will give you a little leeway as you're learning the route, but like, that's a thing. So they're like, well, you have to do this much work in this much time because this is clearly how it's done. So police officers in, like, let's say a black neighborhood or whatever, will arrest so many people for so many offenses for so many reasons, and then the police department is like, oh, well, that's the amount of crime in that area, so just maintain that quota. And then now the police are in that area trying to maintain a quota. It's fucking crazy, because isn't the point of crime to lower the quota? And they're trying to maintain the quota. It's like completely unintuitive. Dude, it's wild. So just saying it makes me be like, we should burn a police station down.
No, that's why I'm fine with that. I think really,
fucking wild.
I think this whole thing can be simplified into two main points. Is police officers need to be held accountable to the same level we are as everyone.
Yeah.
And they need to, like, the private prison reform. Oh, we lost you.
Oh, I have low battery. Oh, there it's back. I'm back. What time are we at?
I forgot, but I think this has been, I don't know, this might be a short one. That's all right.
Okay. Yeah.
We can go till your battery dies.
Yeah, okay.
Or whatever. You got any more funny points? This isn't a very funny one. It was just
but you know what? They don't need to all. I mean, I think we've had a few bangers. I was gonna go bring up the super police, which are the police of the police style.
I don't know who those are.
No, that's the new thing I invented. It's how we fix the problem. We have super police. And I know people are like internal affairs exist, but that's not the same. I'm talking about literal police officers, and it says police on their vehicle, but it says super police, and they police the police, but they're not allowed to police us. They can only police the police.
Why not like a Judge Dredd type system with super?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we have Judge Dredds. Yes, we get Judge Dredds, and the Judge Dredds watch the police. And the Judge Dredds aren't allowed to interact with us, the regular people, technically. They have no law. They have no hearsay over us. They only police the police. So just imagine a cop is like writing you a ticket, and then there's just a Judge Dredd guy sitting there watching him do it, you know?
I was actually thinking, what if there was two like separate police things? So they had to police each other, 2 or 3. Why not like make it have a balance of powers? So there's 3 like different police jurisdictions. This is a very libertarian like privatized police stations. So I guess the problem, like, make them fight each other. And while the cops are fighting each other, you drive away. I don't know.
I don't know how that would work, because wouldn't they police you harder because they're competing?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Here's what they do. No. They get reviewed, and they want the best review. The best reviewed police station gets the biggest budget increase.
Yeah.
So if people like them more, they get the most money.
You have to give them 5 stars on your arrest record.
Exactly.
I don't know.
You have to rate their police work.
Honestly, all this would be solved if everyone just concealed carry. No need for police. Everyone concealed carries. It's like the Wild West. Everyone's pretty nice to each other until they're not.
I mean, you know what? Shayne from last year would say, Mac, you're an insane person. I hate how often you suggest this. Shayne today says, you know what? Fuck it. Maybe. I don't know. Right. That seems like as good as any other plan, really. I feel like it could work. I don't know. I'm with you, man.
Well, it's we
got the Cowboy Boys. Let's arm these communities.
What is it called? That every single country is like, every single country with nukes is like, we all have nukes. We can't nuke each other, but we're going to point our nukes at you.
It's called mutual destruction strategy.
So mutual destruction, but with every single human and a handgun.
Just how cool would it be? You turn 8 and you're just like, here's your baptism and also your gun.
8's a little young. I'd go with like 10 to 12 is when you should get your first rifle. 10 to 12. And then, you should have a rifle in your teen years. You shouldn't be able to conceal that, but like do it, what is it, Israel style, where everyone just has their ARs on their back.
True. Okay. And then later you get your pistol.
Yeah. Once you do your 2 year, your year or 2 of required military service, Starship Troopers. Oh, and not Starship Troopers. That's Israeli style. But I think Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. Oh yeah, volunteer. It doesn't have conscripted service. Yeah, but you're not allowed to be a citizen unless you volunteer.
Yeah.
You can exist in society and benefit from society, but you're not allowed to take part in the system unless you contribute. Which feels good. I feel like that's right, but I know that it's fascism, but it feels right.
It's a good balance of fascism.
It really is. It feels right.
It's voluntary fascism.
When I read Starship Troopers, I was like, and the humans are the good guys. And then someone explained it to me, and I was like, damn, missed the total point of the book. I was like, shit. I fucked that one up pretty hard. Yeah.
Well, the movie is kind of also, it's different, but comes to the same conclusions.
Yeah.
That's your homework of this podcast or week, is to go watch or read Starship Troopers. You'll come to the same conclusions both ways, I think, but truly underrated movie, underrated book. Like absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they're
not
great.
as good as
I love
Dune,
them both.
but
Well,
a
are you
required reading for our book club.
for sure? Well, my phone's about to die, everybody. I swear to God, this has been a pretty decent length. I think we're close to an hour.
Yeah, I forgot to put the timer, and I don't know how Zoom meeting timers work. Oh well.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, do your civic duty, and exercise your First and Second Amendments, everybody.
Yeah. Be a proud American. America is cool. Our country is awesome because of the people and what they're capable of, not because of our elected officials or our police officers.
Yeah, not the it is the like it's like the I don't know how to put it, but
the citizenry. Yeah, it's us, the collective people. We make up what is cool about the country, and we're the ones who beat the British. We're the ones who fucking built everything. So we're the country, not all that other shit that people get annoyed about.
We're the country, not the government.
Yeah.
There's
so exactly. Be a fucking patriot and go light a police station on fire. Maybe I'm not saying you should do that, but if you wanted to write a book about it, I would read that book. That's what I'm saying.
Or at least, like, here's the thing too. Really, on a really serious note, even if you're like one of those all lives matter, like, okay, whatever, like instead of a Black Lives Matter, like actually, it's like you don't have to. I don't agree with every single point that all the people are marching, and there was a thing they were chanting where it's like white silence is like some white violence and stuff, and it's like some people are whatever, I get it, or like the NYPD suck my dick, I'm like, suck my dick. Like I think dick sucking is a special kind thing. And we should stop telling people to suck our dicks in anger, and suck my dick should be like a special, like, hey, suck my dick. But like, even if you don't agree with all the things of the protest, you should still go out and like obviously protest cops killing people, cops oppressing. Like, even if you're only 20% with the cause, go out and march peacefully. Or if you want to throw rocks and stuff, there's a time for that too.
I mean, there is a time for that. There is a time.
If you have cop buddies, tell them to be like, hey, what's going on? Let's like, what have you seen?
Call in sick to work. That's something.
Yeah, just don't show up. What are they going to do? Fire you? Then you'll collect unemployment. Yeah. I don't know if that's how that works.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
go out and do something. I don't know.
Yeah, anything is better than nothing. And if you can't do something, if you literally can't, that's okay. Don't feel guilty.
Yeah,
I did a tweet, and all these people who were like, I'm disabled, I can't protest, and I'm like, bitch, I'm not talking about you. Shut the fuck up.
But I went out. I walked around for like 4 or 5 hours. So,
dude,
you know who was really cleaning up today? There was a guy with no leg on a wheelchair, and people were handing him water and tons of money. If you're homeless and a protest is going by, that's a good day.
Get in there. If you're not homeless, support us on Patreon so that we won't be.
Oh yeah, we have Patreon episodes.
Is that a good segue?
It is.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh my God, the sprinklers are going on right near me.
Whatever. This was the protest boys. Stay safe out there.
Yeah.
Hopefully we gave you some ideas. Fight for freedom. That's what we're all really about. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone. Yes.
Everyone, no exceptions.
All
right.
Yeah, go to our website, cowboyboys.rodeo. Rate and review us on iTunes. That's all I really got. Follow you out.
Yeah, I was going to say, blah, 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 blah. Patreon, thank you so much for Patreon. We love you so much. That means the world. And it's really helping us out right now in a time where lots of uncertainty, and we appreciate you. I don't know. I was thinking about the Patreon, and I was like, man, everyone who supports us is super great. So thank you for that. And I'm out. Fucking
right.
yeehaw, everybody.
Yeehaw.